Alrighty. I'm just trying to get this chat connected. Doesn't seem to want to connect. So we'll just do it the old way. So let's make sure we're here. Good. All right. I'll say hello. Hello. And what we want to talk about today is this would be our 7th lesson, number 7. And this is simple present questions, both yes, no, and WH or information questions. So let's review the last lesson here. For the statements, we'll say, for example, I work, we like, you do, they have, but then be very careful with he, she, it. He works, she likes, it does, it has. So basically he, she, it, you'll be adding an S, sometimes an ES, and sometimes an irregular form. So that's the statement. Now, when you want to ask a question, it's really very simple. You just put the helping verb do here. So it'll be, do I work? Do we like? Do you do, let's say, and do they have? So you're really just taking the statement and putting the helping verb at the beginning. You notice the answer to these questions that we're looking at right now are yes or no. Do they work? Yes. Or do you have? No. Now, the only thing you must remember is if you're using he, she, it, it's a different helping verb. It's does. Does. So I'll just use the verb have here. Does he have? Does she have? Does it have? So that's all there is to it, really. Take the statement over here and you put the helping verb, either do or does, in front of it, and that gives you the yes-no question. So, for example, over here, he says, do you play the guitar? By the way, he could also say, excuse me, do you play guitar? Means the same thing. So let's see how we're doing here. Looks like my this thing is not connected, so I'm going to remove it. Okay, so let's see how we're doing for questions. All 5 viewers out there. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples. of these question forms. But before that, let's take it another step further and look at the WH question form. So we'll start by reviewing what we just talked about. So here we have these are yes/no questions. So we have, do you work on Sundays? Answer yes, no. Do your friends live near here? Your friends are they. Do they live near here? Answer yes, no. And does Chris is probably he, could actually also be she, but mostly he, short for Christopher. So that's a he. So does Chris play tennis? So again, it's the helping verb, the subject, and they call here infinitive. I'd say base form. Okay, so that's what we've talked about. Now let's add a little something to that. If we want to ask WH questions, these are information questions. Really, again, not too much to it. You put the WH word and then exactly what we've been doing. So, for example, where do your parents live? Your parents are they. Again, where do your parents live? The answer is some information. In New York, in Beijing. How often, and then just the normal question form. How often do you wash, and if there's a part goes on the end, your hair. How often do you wash your hair? The answer, 7 times a week, or me, no times a week, a couple of times a week. Maybe 5 times a week, 6 times a week. Here we have, what does this word mean? And the answer will be, for example, what does this word mean? Native Spanish speakers, hablar. So this word means speak. So what does this word mean? And another WH question, remember how is considered WH. So how much does it cost to fly to Puerto Rico? How much does it cost to fly to Puerto Rico? From where I am, probably, I don't know, somewhere between, I guess about $150 to $200 maybe, even round trip maybe. From where I am, it's about probably less than 2 hours. Okay, so let's play with these a little bit now, these forms. Okay, but before that, again, let's notice where the adverbs go. These words are adverbs: always, ever, usually. So where do these go? Well, do you always have breakfast? So they go between the subject and the base form of the verb. I'll call it V. So if we look up here, they would go right here, these words, between the subject and the infinitive. The subject and the main verb, the base verb. Does Chris ever call you? Does Chris ever call you? And a WH question: what do you usually do on weekends? So really no other position. That's the place for these. Don't be confused by this one, right? We have do and do. Do. Well, number one, do is a helping verb, question verb, and number two, do, is the base form of the verb do. And as long as we're talking about that, be careful, because the question, what do you do? Just like that, not like here, but just that short question, what do you do? That means only and always, what is your job? What's your occupation? What's your work? So if somebody says to you, or you ask somebody, what do you do? What do you do? The answer might be, I work in a bank, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a lawyer, or I work in McDonald's. And that's all it ever means. What do you do? What's your job? Okay, now the last part of this the lesson here is a summary so far, and then a look at short answer. So the summary is, the question word is do, I, do we, do you, do they, plus the base verb. So example, do they like music? Yes, no. But with he, she, it, the question word is does. And it's does plus, again, the base verb. Not a verb with S, base verb. So it's does he, does she, does it. Example, does he like music? Yes, no. So not here likes. No, 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 no. Not likes, but does he like, or does she like, or does it like? No likes. Why is that? Well, because the S is really here. You don't need an extra S here. Okay, short answers. See if anybody has a question. Short answer, which are very common. So I think I'll start with the examples, and then we'll look at the form second, if you don't mind. So we have do you play tennis? Short answer, no, I don't. Do your parents speak English? Short answer, yes, they do. Does Gary work hard? Yes, he does. And does your sister live in Vancouver? No, she doesn't. So the short answers, if they're yes, are yes, I do, yes, we do, yes, you do, yes, they do. Or yes, he does, yes, she does, yet it does. And for the negative, it's no, I don't, we don't, you don't, they don't, but no, he doesn't, she doesn't, it doesn't. And that's it. So it's sort of the same as the question helping verb. It's do for I, we, you, they. It's does for he, she, it. And for the negative, just put the not or nt. So it's do not or don't for I, we, you, they, and it's does not or doesn't for he, she, it. So that's the information we need. Now we're going to have to do some exercises, and don't forget these pages are at this link for you, all 5 of you. If you want to follow along, try it before you watch the video. Maybe it'll help you with asking questions. So I'll ask a little question myself. Ready for the exercises? And the answer is yes. So let me just make sure we've done it all. And then we can go ahead. Yeah, we've done it all. So let's look at some exercises. So let me check one more time. Questions. I'll go ahead with these exercises. So let's get rid of this. And let's bring this one out here. And try exercise number 1. Whoops. So exercise number 1, guess what? We have to ask some question. And these questions are going to be all yes, no. So pretty, we say in English, pretty straightforward. Straightforward. Nothing tricky, just very direct. So they're all yes, no. So what that means is you must start with either do or does. That's all you got to do. For example, I like chocolate. How about you? And how about you really means I want to know this. Do you like chocolate? Answer, yes. Okay, here we go. I play tennis. How about you? How about you? Do you play tennis? How about you? Do you play tennis? And the question mark is way over there. So the answer, yes, I do, or no, I don't. Number 3. You live near here. You live close to here. Okay, now how about Lucy? Lucy's she. So we have to change our helping verb. It's does. Does Lucy, does she live near here? How about Lucy? Does Lucy live near here? Answer, short answer, yes she does, no she doesn't. And be careful, it's does Lucy live, no S. No S. Tom plays tennis. How about his friends? Well, his friends are they, so do they play tennis? How about his friends? Do they play tennis? Answer would be yes, they do, or no, they don't. You speak English. How about your brother? Your brother is he. Does he speak English? So again, how about your brother? Does he speak English? Not speaks, no S. Does he speak English? Short answer, yes he does, or no he doesn't. I do yoga every morning. How about you? Do you do? Do you do? Yes. Do you do yoga every morning? So they're asking this on purpose because they're trying to confuse you. Do you do? This is a helping verb, question verb, and this is the main base verb. So be careful of that when you're using the verb do. Do you do yoga every morning? Short answer, yes, I'll write it up here. Yes, I do, or no, I don't. Just to make you think a little bit, long answer would be, yes, I do yoga every morning, or no, I don't do yoga every morning. That's the last chapter. Next, Sue often travels on business. How about Paul? Well, Paul's he. Does he often travel on business? So how about Paul? Does he, notice the position of often, you remember that? Between the subject and the verb. Does, how about Paul? Does he often travel on business? No S after travel. Travel. Short answer, yes he does, or no he doesn't. I want to be famous. How about you? Do you want to be famous? Do you want to be famous? How about you? Do you want to be famous? Short answer, yes I do, or no I don't. And the last one, you work hard. How about Anna? Anna's she. Does she work hard? Does she work hard? How about Anna? Does she work? No S. Does she work hard? Short answer, yes she does, excuse me, or no she doesn't. And remember last time, You can go back and watch that video, but remember, she hardly works is very different than work hard. Hardly works means almost zero. We talked about that one last time. So let's see if we have any questions. May I offer you another clementine or mandarin or whatever it's called? All one of you watching. Okay, now you got to think a little more. We have a whole load of questions here. 14 questions. Whoops. Yeah, let's make that a little bigger. Excuse me. Okay, 14 questions, and the exercise here is to get everything in the right order. So here we go, if you're ready. I'll read the examples for you here. 1 and 2. Excuse me. Where live your parents? Well, what's missing here is the question word do or does, and it has to be in the right place. So, where live your parents? Where do your parents live? You early always get up? Do you always get up early? Okay, now we have number 3. How often TV you watch? So that's going to start with the WH. How often, helper, do you, subject, base form, watch TV. So let's read that again. How often do, here's the helper, do you watch TV? How often do you watch TV? Once a week, once a month, once a year, never, all the time. Number 4, you want what for dinner? Start with the WH word. What do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? Oh, I want some Fessenjun, some fish. Okay, so these two are WH questions, This next one, 5, like you football. So this is just going to be, start with the helper, do you like football? That's American football, not European football. That's the one where they throw the ball. So this is a yes/no. Number 5 is a yes/no question. Do you like football? Answer, no or yes. This one also, yes/no. Your brother like football? Does your brother like football? Football. So start with the helping or question word. Does your brother like football? Answer, yes, no. Okay, now we're back to WH. This one's WH. The next one's WH. So, what you do in your free time. What do you do in your free time? You could also say leisure time, free time, leisure time. So the answer, I walk, I practice the guitar, I listen to music, I watch TV. So what do you do in your free time? So here's this do. This one is the helper, do. This is the base verb, do. And this doesn't mean what's your job. That's question is what do you do? Question mark. That means, excuse me, what's your job? Okay, number 8, another WH. Your sister work where? Where? Your sister's she. Where does your sister work? Where does your sister work? In McDonald's, in the store, or you could say in New York or in Mumbai. The number 9 is back to yes, no. To the movies ever you go. And we have to be careful of the position of this one. So it's a yes, no. So do you ever go to the movies? Do you ever, so start with the helper, do you ever go? So the position of this word between you and go. Do you ever go to the movies? Answer, yes, or short answer, yes I do, or no I don't. Number 10. I think we had that on the other page. What mean this word? Excuse me, so this is a WH. What does this word mean? This word is like it. What does it mean? What does this word mean? It means what's the definition? For example, comer in Spanish. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means eat. Okay, number 11 is a yes/no, and it has one of these words, so we have to be very careful here. Often snow it here. Does it often snow here? So we start with the helper. Does it often snow here? And this word goes between it and snow. The answer, yes it does, or no it doesn't. Number 12. Number 12 is a WH, so I'll just start right with that. What time... Well, let me read it first. So, go usually to bed. What time you? That's totally mixed up. So, what time do you usually go to bed? What time do you, here's usually, go to bed? What time do you usually go to bed? Answer, early, late, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Another WH, how much? How much to call Mexico it cost? How much? We have to start with the WH. How much does it cost to call Mexico? How much does it cost to call Mexico? And the last one is another WH. See if anybody has questions. Let's ask a question. Any questions on the second exercise? How about this question? What are you eating, Dave? And I'll answer it. I guess it's called a clementine. Or maybe it's called a mandarin. I don't know what it's called. Okay, last one. You for breakfast have usually what? Yikes! So this has everything in it. So start with the WH. What do you usually have for breakfast? What do you usually have for breakfast? What do you usually have for breakfast? Answer: oatmeal, or eggs, or cereal, or nothing. Okay, so that's quite an exercise. Let me just look down here. We have number 9 is also, number 9 is also yes, no. I'll just label these, try to label these. Number 9 is yes, no. Number 9. Number 11 is yes, no. I'm trying. Number 11 is yes, no. So that's it, I believe. And of course number 2 is yes, no. So it's almost half and half. Some of these are WH, some of them are yes, no. And if you look at the WH, you'll remember they all have the WH word at the beginning. And the yes, no, they start with either do or does. Ready for this next exercise? I would recommend reading over this one that we just did a couple of thousand times maybe, because there's a lot in there. Okay. Now we have my favorite, pictures. So I'll put me up here. So pictures, and they kind of give us part of the answer. So this should be more fun, maybe. So we have these verbs up here. We have here, this woman is giving answer in blue, and this guy is asking a question. So we have to say what's he asking that she is giving this answer. So for example, she says, I work in a bookstore. That's the answer. So the question will have to be, what do you do? So we use do. I mean, the question could be, where do you work? But because it already says what here, that's what we have to use. So again, you could say, hey, where do you work? I work in a bookstore. Okay, now, all of these questions kind of go together. So he says again, what do you do? She says, I work in a bookstore. Then she says, it's okay. And so that means probably something like a yes, no. Do you enjoy it? Or, you know what? You could also say, do you like it? And she says, it's okay. So I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Now, number 3, the answer is at 9 o'clock. So he wants to know what time, and you know, he's talking to her, so what time do you, what time do you probably what time do you start in the morning? She says at 9 o'clock. What time do you start? What time do you begin in the morning? So kind of alternating. First is a WH, then is a yes, no, then is a WH. This one I think is going to be a yes, no. Because yes, no, you can say, you know, do you like your work? Yes, no, or sometimes could also be an answer. So number 4 is going to be, do you what? Do you this? Do you work on Saturdays? Do you work, on Saturdays? She says sometimes. She could also say yes or no, or she could say yes I do or no I don't. Okay, then we go back to a WH. How, and the answer is usually by bus. How do you, and he's asking that, how do you get to work? How do you get to work? She says, usually by bus. You could also say, how do you usually get to work? But you don't have to. Okay, now from here, now we're switching to her husband. So that's going to be he. So number 6, and your husband, what does he, and it's this question, we want to know his job. What does he do? Sorry, we want to know his job because her answer here is he's a teacher. That's his job. He's a teacher. So that tells us we want to know what is his job. So, and your husband, what does he do? means and only means what's his job. Okay, then he continues to ask about the husband's job, and he says, what does he, so he's a teacher, what does he teach? What does he teach? Well, he teaches science, or you could say what subject does he teach? Or just what does he teach? Answer science, English, history. And the last one of this exercise, the answer is yes, he loves it. So we're asking, very similar to number 2, but it's about, remember, it's about her husband. So, and we're back to yes, no. Does he, well, we really have a choice. Does he enjoy? Or we could also say like his job. So yes, no. Does he enjoy his job, or does he like his job? And the answer is yes, he loves it. Or negative, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Or he hates it. So let's see if anybody's got questions. Questions? Because the idea here really is for you to ask questions, not for me to just blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, let's get to the last exercise. And if I remember correctly, that's gonna be, I think it's short answer. Let's see. Yeah, that's about short answers. And what we'll do is, because it's asking about you, so we'll give the positive and the negative. So we'll cover, we say in English, we'll cover all bases. We'll cover all bases. So some people here will say yes, some will say no. Okay, so here we go. Do you watch TV a lot? Do you watch TV a lot? No, I don't. Or, yes, I do. Number 2. Do you live in a big city? No, I don't. Or, yes, I do. Do you ever, notice the position of this, do you ever ride a bicycle? So you could say, no, I don't. Or, yes, I do. Now we change to it. We're talking about the weather, it. Does it rain a lot where you live? Does it rain a lot where you live? So that's going to be no, it doesn't. So notice with the weather, it's it. No, it doesn't, or yes, it does, especially in the rainy season, which for me is coming soon. And then it will rain every day, daily. And the last one is, do you play the piano? So it sort of goes without saying. All of these are the yes, yes, no, yes, no form questions. So last one, do you play the piano? No, I don't. Or, yes, I do. So there you go. I'll just pause here for a minute. Make sure I've done the whole lesson. And if there are any questions you want to ask. Next time we'll be doing the present continuous, the verb have and got, and the past tense of to be, was, were. And then maybe, I don't know, then maybe we can continue a little bit with the simple past, depending on demand. So I'll pause a bit here and get ready to say until next time, ciao. Okay, maybe next time some questions. So bye-bye.